China is a country rich with tradition, history, and culture that has been around for hundreds of years. It had its first unified state around the year 2021 BC, which started these families of emperors called dynasties, which ruled for anywhere between 20 years to 500 years. China was a land surpassing all other countries in arts and science and flourished to do so in those following years. If you're thinking about visiting China, make sure to check the weather depending on the season and place you wish to visit. Southern China is dominated by hills and low-lying mountain ranges, perfect for skiing and winter fun. If you are looking for beaches and summer enjoyment, just visit the coast near the South China Sea for beautiful trips. Most of China is dominated by plains and grasslands, but is having an environmental issue of being taken over by the Gobi Desert. Most of China has two seasons, the dry seasons and the wet seasons, so make sure to check before accepting your trip. But China also had its bad times. China was changed in the 1800s when the British fought the Opium Wars against them and threw them into being nearly colonized and civil unrest. But in the early 1910s, led by Sun Yat-sen, the Chinese nationalists or Kuomintang took over the country and established the Republic of China. When Sun Yat-sen died, a short-lived ruler Yuan ruled for a year, paving the way for Chiang Kai-shek. Chiang Kai-shek unified China from various warlords living in China. After this, the nationalists were fighting a civil war, which they were winning, against the communists led by Mao Zedong, which weakened them for the oncoming Japanese invasion. The Japanese violently took over China and held on to it until after the end of World War II, which after the nationalists and communists went back to fighting. But this time, the communists took over and Mao Zedong led them into the People's Republic of China. Under Mao, China was in a state of poverty and distrust for the rest of the world. Mao's two main projects, the Great Leap Forward and Cultural Revolution, led to about 50 million deaths. The Cultural Revolution lasted until his death in 1976. After that, a man by the name of Deng Xiaoping reformed China's economic policies, establishing capitalism, which sparked the start of modern-day China. Today, China is a bustling shipping country and has the highest growing GDP of any country in the world. It also has the largest population, standing at 1.3 billion people. Today, China still has many connections to its long history, like respecting your elders and Confucianist ideas. Near the end of the Cultural Revolution, there was a major revival of art, literature, music, fashion, and architecture about traditional China. China's cuisine varies largely depending on where you're visiting, anywhere from using mainly meats, fishes, and vegetables, and they all use many different kinds of spices available to that region. China has many natural and man-made landmarks spanning the entire country. The first would be the Great Wall, which is a wall built in northern China to stop invaders and is the largest wall in the world, spanning at a total length of 8,851.8 kilometers. Next is the Forbidden City in Beijing, which is considered the symbol of Imperial China and is located in the heart of Beijing. It was built during the Ming Dynasty, and despite its name, it is open to the public. Next is the Terracotta Army in Kim. It has been buried for 2,000 years and was only discovered in 1974. It was made during the Qing Dynasty to protect them from invaders and is notable for its very specific differences between the soldiers. One of the major rivers is the Yellow River, which is known as the cradle of Chinese civilization. It is the second largest river in China and has a trove of history along with it. Of course, Mount Everest has to be mentioned, being the largest mountain in the world. It is permanently covered in snow because it is so high up and assumes the shape of a pyramid. Lastly are the giant pandas, which are only found in China. They are easily recognizable by their black and white coloring and are one of the symbols of China. Finally, if you stuck with me through all this, here's some final tips and advice to get you through China. Get some vaccinations depending on where you're going. If you're staying at a 5-star hotel, they're not needed as much as if you were going to a rural village. Do not drink the water no matter what. Only drink the bottled water. The water in China is unfiltered and can get you sick very quick. Eat from approved restaurants. Do not order any food from street vendors because it can get you very sick very quick too. Use your cell phones to call internationally very scarcely because the international charges add up very quickly. And if you're going to take pictures in China, make sure to bring a lot of memory because there's a lot to see.